NCAA football might be way in the rearview mirror, but what we have right now is March Madness, a fantastic time where we see the future of women's hoops. Some staying in the college ranks, and some going to the WNBA. Wait a second, WNBA? Hold on a sec. Oh yeah, the WNBA.
3-on-1.
Nope.
Off the backboard.
Seasons ago, really flourishing now, playing the point for the first time this year. Sanders missed just about everything.
By Prince, shot clock at 4, at 3, at 2.
Ball game.
At 1, Zealous.
Bitch, your game is garbage.
Ask anyone about the WNBA and you'll hear one of 4 things. I want to see it succeed. I want to see it fail. I don't really care for it. Or, what the hell is that? Regardless on where you stand, the general consensus is that the league and its players are shooting themselves in the foot time and time again. But why is this happening? Is it based on external factors or is it something that's created within? Well, let's find out. There are 2 ways you can look at this viewership thing. You can tell yourself the league is fine due to record numbers over the past decade. While this take isn't exactly invalid, I would argue that taking all data points since the inception of the WNBA paints the better picture here. Look at this data from across the timeline. You can clearly see the decline in viewership since its inception in 1997. If WNBA viewership was alive and well, the chart should be skewed to the left. It is skewed to the right, and this paints the bigger picture. They'll give you these measures that sound elating, but in the big picture it's anything but. There are a couple ways to increase viewership, with the most simple and least controversial one being to market your players and their talent. You literally have a generational talent in Caitlin Clark to market yourselves with. You can't fuck this up. You also have that whole 3-point shootout with Steph Curry and your very own Sabrina Ionescu. Stuff like this brings traction to the league. The league can also work with experimentation, like lowering the rim to increase entertainment value. Now hold on, put the pitchforks down, let me explain. The fact of the matter is that the league is a product of entertainment. People love watching those thunderous dunks and those nasty ankle breakers, and not missing point blank layups.
Oh shit, not good.
It doesn't even have to be permanent. Something NASCAR gets flack for is their poor short track racing. So what do? Experiment with a new short track package. Just give it a chance. The least you could do is at least try the idea out instead of complaining about it. Speaking of which... Is anyone really surprised by this? Truth be told, the players of the WNBA have lost all sense of reality. Who knows the name Brittany Griner? You remember the Merchant of Death? Well, that is who we traded in order to get Brittany back home. It's like when Mr. Krabs gave up SpongeBob for 62 cents. This is also the same person who confidently said she would beat DeMarcus Cousins in a 1v1 when he was in his prime, referring him as a
"Hey little man."
DeMarcus Cousins is 6'11". This isn't meant to be a Griner hate video, and she is far from the problem. The issue is that the WNBA players have unrealistic demands on what they deserve to be paid. As much as I want to see the players get paid a decent amount, the reality is that the WNBA is just not profitable, and I mean it. In 2023, the league brought in $60 million, which is only 0.69% of what the NBA brought in at around $8.76 billion. The expenses of the WNBA being $70 million means the league is losing money, something that has been constant since the league's inception. So how are they still around? The answer to that is simple. They are subsidized by the NBA. So when someone tries to convince you that
the game is just as good,
just stop and think logically, because if that were the case, there would be more butts in the seats. You wouldn't be losing money, you would not need to be subsidized by the NBA, and you would get paid more because the league is making more money. So when you see these players complain that lowering the rims is disrespectful, when players like Draymond Green and T-Mac are suggesting it, don't cry when you still don't get paid the way you want. You can't have it both ways. Like seriously, you play with a smaller ball, a shorter 3-point line, you play less games, Those games are shorter, but lowering the rent down is where you draw the line. I just don't get it. And I know some of you are like, they aren't saying for the same amounts of NBA players, but instead
similar percentage of revenue shared.
It still doesn't matter since the WNBA is losing money and has been for decades, so if anything, asking for more is just going to make the league bankrupt. And when people like Lisa Leslie suggest that NBA players donate to them is asinine, considering the NBA is the only reason this WNBA league still exists. At least be appreciative of the NBA players that come and support you. Alright, for this brief intermission, let's play some trivia, my favorite. We have Aerial Powers, a WNBA player that is just lighting up the court with her play, and the one and only Andre
Iguodala
sends out a tweet giving you his praise. What did she end up doing? Did she A. follow him back on Twitter, B. send a heartfelt response to him, or C. ignore him? If you said any of the following, you are wrong. She upped her bitch sliders to 100 and told him off. Way to stay fucking classy. Man, now I know why Draymond Green said what he said. And finally, we have to talk about what happens within closed doors. The WNBA is made up of a lot of LGBT players, which is not at all an issue, but when you use that to bully those that don't conform is unacceptable. In 2017, a retired WNBA player by the name of Candace Wiggins came out and exposed the ever-loving crap out of the culture in the WNBA, calling out its toxicity and cult-like behavior she received for just being straight. Now, the whole league having 98% gay players is very, very hard to believe. But to me, it's hard to discredit what she is saying. And when society as a whole leans more towards making fun of the league than not, it's not a good look at all. You also have that incident where Skylar Diggins-Smith wasn't even allowed in the Mercury's practice facility due to a pregnancy. Yeah, that actually happened. And when you have articles saying certain things happen due to white privilege and not merit, it shows that the league and its followers are going about this the wrong way. It slowly becomes apparent that the league appears to be more like a social movement than a league predicated on the game of basketball. You remember around 5 minutes ago when I said they couldn't possibly mess up marketing Caitlin Clark to the masses? I was fully kidding. They can absolutely screw it up. And I think they will. They will be jealous of her, they will envy her, and they will try and bring her down because she doesn't exactly fit the mold of what the players want from someone set to become the face of the league. What the fuck happened? Why should race and sexuality play a part in finding success in the league? Now hear me out. I think the success should be based on the skill of the player. I know, I thought of this around the age of reasoning. So instead of knocking each other down, how about you lift each other up? Embrace those that can bring more exposure to the league, and then maybe you will get the viewership and pay that you deserve. So as we stand today, is the league here to stay? And I think that's the wrong question to ask, because as long as the NBA pumps money into the league like it's cryptocurrency, the WNBA will remain. The real question is if the WNBA can find success on its own accord, and for me personally, I don't think they will. Because at the end of the day, the WNBA is resistant to change. When presented with suggestions on how to improve the league, they'll get offended. If a player comes in that doesn't fit their social construct, they will be shamed. The problem is they want to keep things the same, and they want to tell themselves the league is alive and well when the monetary figures say otherwise. And for any business, those that cannot turn a profit will fade into obscurity.